couple of years ago, I got a Facebook message from some guy, Steve. I forgot his name. He was a fan of my music, and said, "Smutty, did you ever have a black bass with pink letters with your in Blaker of your name on it?" And I said, "Yeah, it got stolen." He said it's in a pawn shop window in New Jersey.
Really?
And I said, "No, it can't be." And he went and took a picture of it. And I said, "That's my fucking bass." And he said, I said, "It was stolen 39 years ago."
Shit.
So I just thought, I'll get the pawn shop number and call the guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, worth a shot. I know it's mine.
Yeah.
So I remember calling the guy, Juan or whatever his name was, can't remember. You know, he was a bit cold on the phone. He said, "How can I help you?" I said, "Have you got a stand-up bass in the window?" He said, "Yeah, it's not for sale." I said, "It's not for sale." He said, "No, I got it a long, long time ago. It's not for sale." I said, "Well, do you know the name Smutty Smiff or the Rockats?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of you guys." I said, "That's my bass." And he said, "Well, how can you prove it? How do you know it's your bass?" I said, "Well, my fucking name's on it in big pink letters. Can you read English?" And one thing led to another, and I said, "Look, it's my bass. I want it back." And he wanted $4,000 for keeping it this long.
Yeah.
Well, I said, "It was stolen." I said, I said to him, "When did and where did you get the bass?" He said, "I got it in 1981. Yeah, it's a parking lot in New Jersey. We used to go trade guitars. And, this guy came up with a van, and he said, 'Hey, you want to swap it for a Fender Jazz, this stand-up bass?'" So I said, "So at 2 o'clock in the morning in 1982 in a car park in New Jersey, you got this bass. You didn't find that a bit suspicious?" He said, "Are you accusing me of buying stolen goods?" I said, "No, I didn't say that. I just said, didn't you find that a little suspicious?" Then the New York Times contacted the guy because this guy that saw the bass told the story the night before I called the pawn shop on stage, because it's a good story. You know, I think I might have found Smutty Smiff's bass in a pawn shop because it was a regular gig for him.
Yeah.
He played there every week.
Yeah.
And then a New York Times reporter happened to be in the audience, a crime reporter.
Okay.
So the New York Times crime reporter called me and go, "Can I speak to Smutty Smiff?" And I said, "This is him." She goes, "Did you get your bass stolen in 1982 and now it's in a pawn shop in New Jersey?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "The New York Times want to do an article on it." A week later, they said, "We're going to put it on the cover of the New York Times."
Okay.
The cover. It made the cover story of the Sunday section.
Damn.
So that kind of elevated me a lot, and I thought, well, I'll never get it back. And then I remember I called the guy again. I told him about the New York Times and picked up the story. I said, "This isn't the fucking Slash magazine or the LA Weekly or Grapevine. This is the New York Times."
Yeah.
He said, "All right, let's negotiate again. I want $1,000. I said, "Look, you've had it all this time. I'll give you $500. He said, "Okay, bring over the money and I'll give the bass to your guitarist." My guitarist lived in the next town,
Okay.
Barry. So the Times came out the next day.
Yeah.
And then I called to tell him that my guitarist was on his way with the money that he wanted for the bass. And the Times also said they wanted to interview him. And he said, "Oh, whatever. I don't care. I mean, you know, I still want money for the bass."
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, you know, this guy could come out of this in two ways. He could come out of it like Robin Hood, or he could come out of it like the Sheriff of Nottingham. Which one do you want to be? You want to be Robin Hood, give back to the poor, or do you want to be whipping people to the post and hanging them for taxes? He had that choice.
Yeah.
I gave him that choice.
Yeah.
So after the story came out, he got 200 phone calls and people trying to break his windows and threatening to kill him.
Really?
Oh.
Okay.
So by the time my guitarist got there with the money, he just said, "Take the fucking bass, take the bass, take the bass."
Okay.
And I'm so sorry, Smutty. And he called me back. And so then the Times followed up the story. And then I get an email from my singer. He said, "The band U2 is trying to get hold of you, Smutty." Because I was friends with them. and my ex-girlfriend's best friend was their manager in America, and I'd partied with them, and I knew their manager in London.
Okay.
Long story. He took me on the road with him for a while, just as a mate in the Joshua Tree. You know, I'd known him for years. But I hadn't spoke to him since then.
Okay.
So then I get an email from the bass player, Adam Clayton, and he says, Smutty, is it true? I just read in the New York Times, because everyone reads the New York Times, everybody. Is it true that your bass got stolen and the pawn shop want money to give it back? And he said, I spoke to Bono and Edge and blah, 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 and, but I would like to buy it back for you and ship it to Iceland.
Okay.
It's the bass player on U2, so I thought, well, that's nice. And a few actors and a few other people came forward and offered to buy it. But I got it back without paying for it, because the guy realised that, it could have been so much good publicity for him to give it back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he went the other road.
Yeah.
Greed.
Yeah.
And then he felt bad, but he was too late. He'd already shot himself.
Yeah.
So I got the bass back, and it's safely back in New Jersey.
Okay.
It's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a movie that Johnny Depp could be in. You know?
Ef þú vilt horfa á allan þáttinn, farðu inn á
Broadcast.is
Það er áskrift